Hi class 3, hope you're all still okay. We're up to chapter 22. At the end of last night's chapter, Holly and Varjak were snuggled up in an alleyway and they were finally getting off to sleep after a long search for Tam, who they still hadn't found. Okay, chapter 22. Varjak dreamed. He dreamed he was walking by the Tigris and zigzag palms swayed in the cinnamon breeze. The sky was vivid with stars. Jalal walked beside him, shimmering in slow time. And Varjak breathed in 1, 2, 3, 4 and slowed himself down until he felt the energy pulsing inside him. Only then could he clearly see how Jalal was moving. It was different to anything he'd ever imagined. All cats are graceful, but Jalal was a river of energy, like the Tigris flowing and changing itself at will. Your body, said Jalal, is but part of you. You are more than your body. You can make it do anything if you know how. You can dodge any blow. You can strike any enemy. You can win any fight. I will show you how, for that is the 5th skill, and we call it moving circles. His silver blue frame started to twist into shapes as strange as those stars above. First, he made a soft velvet arch of himself, and Varjak copied him. He stretched his spine as far as it would go, and then a bit further. Next, Jalal's arch curved around on itself, became a fluid figure of 8, and Varjak followed him, made the move. It was a giant stretch. He felt pain, hot, white pain, but he felt something else as well. The energy that pulsed in his belly was changing into a new kind of power. And there he is, all coiled up. And now Jalal's figure of 8 melted into a circle, an endless moving circle. Varjak breathed in deeply and followed his ancestor. His whole body shook under the strain, but that power was building up, growing stronger, a warm flow, free and unlimited, a moving circle like Jalal. It felt like he was glowing. Good, said Jalal. Now, the last movement, open the circle. Let loose the energy, take it outwards. Use your momentum to direct the force, like this. And Jalal's paw appeared out of nowhere, a whisker from Varjak's nose. He hadn't seen it coming at all. His eyes widened. If he could master this skill, he could beat anyone. Strike me, said the old cat. Varjak breathed. He moved, opened his circle. Jalal arched aside. A moment too late. Varjak skimmed the fur on his shoulder. A surprised smile appeared on Jalal's face. Well, he said, you have travelled far since we first met, Varjak Paw. But remember, you take enough and no more. No matter how tempting, you may cause harm only when your life is in danger. His eyes sparkled amber like sunrise. Which it is. Now wake up. Chapter 23. Varjak woke from his dream in the alley. It was night time again, and he and Holly had slept through the day. A streetlight buzzed on and off behind him. A full moon, round and white as a saucer of milk, shone comfortingly up above, but it was quickly smothered by street black clouds. He needed to go to the litter tray. Holly was fast asleep, and they were still on Sally Bones' territory. Well, it was all outside, wasn't it? The whole world was his litter tray. He could go anywhere he pleased. He slouched out of the shadows and did his business by a heap of rubbish. What a relief it was. His awareness tingled. The fur on the back of his neck prickled. It felt like he was being watched. He swiveled his face to the top of the alley and immediately wished he hadn't. A thin white cat sat there. She was licking her claws, watching him with one icy blue eye. Where the other eye should have been was an empty socket. Her fur was spotless clean, but around her was the smell of darkness, of dank and deadly things and places. By her side prowled a dozen street cats, thick-necked and bristling, grimy as the city itself. They were bigger than the white cat, but somehow they looked like soft little kittens besides her. "Good, was it, Sonny?" she asked. Vajak couldn't answer. He kept staring at her, unable to speak. She was all muscle and bone. He could see her ribs. They jutted out as if they were trying to escape from her. "Now, this isn't your territory," she said, flexing her bone-white claws. "And you shouldn't ever do what you've just done all over someone else's territory, especially if that someone is me." She smiled a crooked smile, but her single eye stayed cold and hard. He had no doubt who he was looking at. No wonder poor Tam was terrified of Sally Bones. "Speak when the boss talks to you," growled a stripy Tom with slash marks all over his face. Vajak recognised him. Razor. Holly stood up beside Vajak. "He didn't mean it," she said. "He's new here." Her legs quivered, but her voice was steady. "New, is he?" said a thin white cat. Her tail swished angrily. She nodded at the stripy Tom. "Razor, why wasn't I told about this?" The Tom began to shake. "I didn't think it was important, boss. He's just a pet." The air seemed to shimmer for a moment, and then Razor howled and clutched his face. There was a fresh new slash mark across one side, and the white cat's claws were tipped with blood. "It's not your job to think, Razor," she hissed. "It's your job to tell me everything. And if you can't do your job, I'll find someone else who can. Understand?" Razor nodded, still clutching his face. In that moment of quiet, Vajak could hear his own heart thumping in his throat. "Now get some information out of this new cat," spat Sally Bones. "I have a feeling he's something to do with the vanishings. Luger and Wes, you two watch his little friend." Razor and the other two cats came towards Vajak and Holly's ears twitched nervously. "Why couldn't you wait till we got home?" she whispered. "We've had it now." "We could make it over those walls," said Vajak, searching for a way out. "They'd only catch us. At least Razor's doing it, not her," Holly shivered. "Just don't tell him about my alleys, okay?" Razor marched up to them, eyes slitted, claws glinting. The slash on his face was red and raw. "What's your name, troublemaker?" he snarled. "Vajak Paw." "Where are you from?" "Mesopotamia." Razor's scarred face twisted in a scowl. "Very funny. Where are you really from? Where do you sleep?" Vajak glanced at Holly. What could he do? Anything he said could give her secret away. He could only keep it by staying silent. "Are you going to open up?" said Razor, his mouth curled back, baring his teeth. "Or do I have to open you up?" There was no sound at all in the alley, except the streetlight's buzz. Vajak kept his mouth shut. They all stared at him. Razor, Sally Bones, her gang, all staring at him. Vajak felt boxed in and alone. The pressure mounted in his head, but he stared straight back at Razor without a word. He was determined not to look away. "Well?" demanded Razor. The Tom's eyes burned into him, but Vajak hung on. "Don't look away. Don't let him win. Hang on, hang on, hang on." Somewhere in the distance, a monster roared. Razor blinked and looked away. Vajak relaxed, and in that instant, something slashed his cheek. Razor's claws. Vajak reeled back, stunned. His head was on fire. "I'm going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget," growled Razor. He came forward, Varjak lashed out. The street cat dodged easily and jabbed his jaw in return. Blood sprayed from Varjak's face in a thick red fountain. Another hit to the face. Varjak's legs felt weak. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Holly start to move, but Lugia and Wes moved faster, blocking her off. It was just him and Razor. Not so tough now, are you? Spat Razor. I can finish you any time. I'm going easy on you. Now talk. He slammed Varjak's ribs, knocking him off balance. And Varjak staggered into the rubbish heap. It squelched around him. He was still standing, but he couldn't take another hit. Moving circles, the fifth skill. You can dodge any blow. You can strike any enemy. It was his only chance. Varjak breathed as Razor came up for the kill. In, 2, 3, 4. Energy pulsed in Varjak's belly. Out, 2, 3, 4. Time slowed down. In, 2, 3, 4. Razor struck in slow motion. Out, 2, 3, 4. Varjak made a moving circle. In, 2, 3, 4. Razor missed. Out, 2, 3, 4. This is good, thought Varjak Paw. He could see the others staring at him. Holly's mouth hung open in surprise. Razor bared his teeth, came in again, moving as if through mud. Varjak opened the circle, let loose the energy, and hit Razor with everything he had, right between the eyes. Oh, I've got to leave it there, right. Oh, exciting stuff. I can't wait for tomorrow's chapter. Oh, right. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.